The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
Hey everyone, this is episode 11 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I'm Sean Thompson.
And I'm Craig Williams.
Oh, hi.
Hi. It feels weird to do that backwards.
I know. It's the most pressure I've ever felt in my life. I thought I was going to screw it up.
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
You didn't.
I did fine, I think.
However, I think you got the episode number wrong.
I don't think I did.
I think you did.
Is this 12?
No. It's episode 9 3/4.
Is that the joke you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it went over just as like I thought.
Awesomely.
Yeah, so Craig, when we first got here, he said to me, I thought of a joke that's going to be great, but I'm not going to tell you until it happens. And that was the one.
Knew.
I knew it was going to be just as awful as I thought. So
Oh.
That's okay. I mean, good effort. I mean, that was really good.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words.
I know you had a ghostwriter for that, so.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So we've been very busy the past week because we've been doing what?
We've been sitting around doing nothing like we always do. No, we were at the media event, seeing a preview of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley.
Yes.
Well, that was the biggest part about it, but we saw a little bit other stuff too. Not quite as important as Diagon Alley unless you consider hot dogs on the same level.
Sometimes I do. I mean, hot dogs are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone loves your joke, by the way. I'm just a jerk.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so good for you.
Well, thank you.
We got to have hot dogs from
did.
Hot Dog Hall of Fame, which were very good. The way that restaurant is organized is that there are hot dogs that represent a lot of different places around the country.
Yep.
So famous, like, ballpark hot dogs.
Yeah.
So your favorite was?
My favorite was the Coney. That's your standard chili dog. And then I believe your favorite was the Sonoran.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
but
we don't know. But
Sonoran. So it had cheese,
yeah,
peppers, beans, bacon, and then was there something else?
It was a lot of very, very unhealthy things mixed together with an unhealthy Vienna sausage.
Oh yeah, there was a Vienna sausage.
Yeah,
that was the type of hot dog.
But no, so that was along the first part of the event that we got to do. We also got to check out Vivo, which just recently opened up a couple days ago.
I believe on Monday night, I think.
Yeah. And excellent Italian restaurant. We're not going to really get into that though, because eventually we're going to have a full review on it.
Yes.
Later down the line, but it's awesome inside there.
It is. It's beautiful.
It's a great looking restaurant. It doesn't look anything like the Olive Garden, which just breaks my heart.
I know you wanted endless breadsticks.
I did.
Yeah, but
what were they thinking?
I don't know.
They missed out on a world of breadsticks.
Mid-level Italian chain restaurants, I guess.
If that's what you'd call it.
I think that is what I'd call it.
Okay, well, I think they deserve a little more credit than that.
Olive Garden does?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we also got to see a little kind of sneak peek at Cowfish.
Yeah.
Which is also coming to City Walk, which will be above Vivo.
Exactly.
And we didn't get to have any food or anything, but we did get to see some of the technology that they're putting into the restaurant.
Yeah.
They had these touchscreen flat screen TVs that you got to design your own fish or sea creature. You did the turtle.
I did the turtle.
Yeah. And then you got to design them and then send them off into the virtual aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then they just swam around, and we got to talk to the owners / creative minds behind it for the second time. We've talked to them once before, but they said it's a nice little feature they like to put in to kind of help people whenever there's a bit of a wait.
Or if you're having dinner by yourself. I mean, you can just sit there and make fish and eat your food and then be on your way.
A me party with fish.
Right? Having a me party at Cowfish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing.
It does.
So yeah, that was kind of the opening up to this event that we were at to get a look at everything. And then we also got to to be a part of the grand opening of Cabana Bay.
Exactly. Universal's newest resort.
Which that happened on Thursday night of this week, on the June 19th, for those people who are watching this in the year 3000.
Yeah, so we have to reference it back. Or we could just say it happened last night.
Okay,
that would be a very easy way to say that.
And that was quite the shindig. I'm trying to think of a 60s beach term that would better represent it.
They kept using the word swell a lot. It's going to be swell. Have a swell time.
I could say I had a swell time.
I did too, actually. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So just for reference, we talked a lot about Cabana Bay when the first section of the resort opened up 3 months ago. But now that the full resort is open, they have had their grand opening. We'll be doing a full review.
Yes.
With all the new additions, so the new rooms, new standard rooms.
Yeah.
The new inside family suites.
Yes.
And the outdoor recreation things, the pool, the lazy river, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the hideaway bar.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun. We actually have to go there literally as soon as we're done. Well, no, not until tomorrow. We get a little bit of a break.
The exact opposite of the word literally, but
yeah. Well, I don't know what words mean.
What do words
from time
mean?
to time. But yeah, we're gonna be working on that so we can do that for our next show with a very special guest.
Yeah.
But we'll say that at the
Peter
end of the
Dinklage.
show. What's that?
It's Peter Dinklage.
Oh, now that Game of Thrones is done.
Peter O'Toole. No?
I'm done with your games. But yeah, so Cabana Bay is fully open now. The Beach Boys helped kick it off without John Stamos. Apparently he hurt his foot.
Was that a joke? I couldn't tell if he was being serious. He said he stubbed his toes.
Well, he couldn't play the kick drum then.
I guess. Okay.
It was
end of story.
We missed
John
him,
Stamos was,
but they still managed to play Kokomo.
They did play Kokomo, and I think we were the only two that were so excited. we thought that we didn't think they were going to play it, so then we went over to get another drink, and we lost our really good position like in front of the stage to see, and so we're standing over on the far end of the thing trying to get video of Kokomo.
Yeah, it was quite embarrassing.
Yes.
But like our lives, most of the stuff we do is also
always
very embarrassing.
Yes.
But no, it was a rockin' good time.
Yeah.
But and then I just want to mention too our experience at Blue Man Group, just because.
Are we really talking about this?
I have never seen you more uncomfortable than whenever we went into Blue Man Group.
No, not when I went in. I was fine going in. All right. We got seats that were closer than I would have appreciated. And then weird stuff started happening. I don't like that type of entertainment. I understand why people do. But I hated it. I was so uncomfortable. You fell asleep in 5 seconds, and I'm just sitting there watching this weird stuff. And there's like weird things where it's all about social commentary. So they bring out these huge iPhones, and they're like saying, this is how people text. And then they talk about 2D and 3D, but it's not quite right. So they need a 2.5 dimensions, and they start dancing. And that's the moment when I walked up and left.
After yelling, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here.
I did not yell
You
that.
did.
I hit your leg because you were on the end, so I needed to get past you, but I just ran out of that theater.
Well,
the worst part was when they came into the audience to grab people to go up on stage, and they stood on the chairs right in front of us. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
But this is in no way a review of it. It was just this little blurb of that night that probably didn't need to happen at all, because we also went to Blue Man Group coming from watching Jimmy Buffett play three songs for The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, which was incredible. I mean, we didn't get to attend any of the screenings. Not the screenings, the tapings. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
We didn't get to attend any of those. Weren't lucky enough to get tickets. That's our lives.
This was just as cool. I mean, Jimmy Fallon was there. You got to introduce Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just like he is on TV, I thought. Mm-hmm. Very funny, kind of goofy.
Oh, no.
Running around. And then he played 3 songs, and it was really good.
Yeah, and I think the best part was seeing like the break in between each song whenever they had to reset up, and Jimmy Fallon had to try a new level of enthusiasm to intro the song just in case they use a different one.
Sure.
But no, that was I'm jealous for all the people who actually won the tickets to go see Jimmy Fallon.
The tapings.
Yeah, the tapings.
No, I know.
Seemed like
I watched a few
time.
of the episodes, and they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I know you didn't. You were bitter.
Yeah, well, I'm always bitter. It's just me. But, I think we've been beaten around the bush long enough because there's more important things to talk about.
I'm really glad that we talked about Blue Man Group.
I thought you would want to get it off your chest some more.
I didn't. I was embarrassed by it. No offense to the Blue Man Group actors. I'm sure you're wonderful people, but I walked out. Although I still swear that one of them was Tilda Swinton, and I know no one knows who that is.
I think my favorite Blue Man Group experience wasn't even being there, though. It was whenever we got into our elevator at Cabana Bay last night, and this lady's like, oh my gosh, how did it get all over me? And you hear that and you get really confused, and then you look at them and they have blue paint all over them. It's like, oh, you were getting touched by blue men at Blue Man Group.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you guys watch us, and sorry that we just talked about your personal vacation.
Yeah.
To Blue Man Group.
I have nothing to say about this.
The Wizarding World
Yes.
of Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley. We got to see it.
We did.
So, in part of the press event, part of this preview weekend, or week actually, were some special events where film stars from the movies were there. So they had two things in particular that the stars got to walk around or kind of sit and do interviews.
Yeah.
So there was a red carpet, and that happened on Wednesday night.
It did.
And so that was set up in the London facade, London waterfront.
Yep.
And then they had a huge red carpet, and the stars from the movies just walked right past us.
Yeah.
And we got to see them.
No, it was very cool. I
Yeah.
mean, this was a webcast that was going out there on the Universal website, as well as they also taped it on E! Network. I don't know the name of the lady who was there showing off from E!
No, I didn't know the lady from E, but Mario Lopez was there.
Mario Lopez was there
For
for
Extra.
extra. But no, I believe that actually is on tonight at 7 o'clock. They're showing it on E!
Okay.
The Extra, I don't know. I don't watch Mario Lopez. I don't follow him. But no, huge red carpet. There were...
You want to talk about the people that were there?
Oh, I do want to talk about the
Okay.
people that were there.
So some of the stars that we saw in February for the celebration of Harry Potter were there.
Yeah.
James and Oliver Phelps, who are the Weasley twins.
Exactly.
Ivana Lynch, who plays Luna Lovegood. Matthew Lewis, who is Neville Longbottom, was there.
Yes.
So those were the repeat. Those are the ones that we saw in February. But then there were new ones. Tom Felton, who is Draco Malfoy.
Yes. Robbie Coltrane.
Robbie Coltrane. I was saving Robbie Coltrane. Hagrid.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bonnie Wright. Bonnie Wright. That's who I was thinking of. Ginny Weasley. And then the biggest one. Oh no, Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis.
Yes.
And then Helena Bonham Carter,
Yeah.
who is Bellatrix Lestrange.
Who was such a surprise to see her in person. I mean, apparently we knew that she was coming there. I didn't know.
Something happened a couple weeks ago where her travel plans were released because her PR team or something confirmed that she would be in Orlando. So I think it was just kind of assumed that she would be here for that. That's how I knew, because I saw it kind of leaked.
However, she needed to be there because, I mean, of course, we talked about it before. She's a part of Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, but her role is actually much bigger in that than I ever expected it to be.
Okay.
And we'll get to that later whenever we actually talk about the ride. But a very good group of celebrities. The three stars weren't there: Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. But no one really expected them to be there ever. Maybe Rupert Grint, just because.
What else is he
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sitting around, eating Cheetos, probably. Do they have Cheetos in London?
I think so.
I don't know that he lives in London.
I don't think he does.
might
Didn't he
live in
go to
another
Brown
city.
University or something?
I don't know.
I think he was over here for a while.
I don't pay attention.
I mean, I follow him on Twitter, so.
Oh, cool.
I don't even know if he has Twitter.
Well, anyways,
All right.
so they didn't show up. J.K. Rowling didn't show up either.
No, and they
So-
referenced her. They said
did.
that she had visited Diagon Alley before, and they read a statement from her. And
Yeah.
that was nice. But
John Williams didn't show up either.
No.
So basically, everyone that was there for the first opening that made it so grand, the one in Hogsmeade, that just all went away. So, I mean, the red carpet was it was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about for everyone who's going to watch it on the E! Network tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sure the interviews will be great.
The interviews will be good, and you get to see the scenery. So I would watch it just to kind of see the London waterfront,
Yeah.
which is very well done, very pretty.
And they're going to have clips from inside Diagon Alley
Yes.
as well. They were allowed to take cameras in there and do all their good stuff the same way we were. So definitely check it out for stuff like that if you're into that kind of thing. I'm not, so I won't. But no, it was a fun experience. But the best part about that was we got to go into the land.
We
right
did.
after, and we got to go inside at night.
Yeah.
Which was quite the spectacle.
So after the red carpet was done, we had to put our cameras and stuff down, and then we got to go into Diagon Alley for the first time.
Yeah.
So this was a lot of people's first time, and it was a huge rush into the entrance. You want to talk about our initial thoughts? Because I know for me, I was blown away and kind of shocked. I didn't expect it to look that way and to be that huge.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes without saying that all theme parks, especially Disney and Universal specifically, at night they take on a different life than they do in the daytime, which, I mean, that's whenever you can use all that great light and effects. And, you know, it just has a certain different buzz in the air. And seeing this at night for the first time, I think it was the perfect way to walk into it.
It was the perfect way, and I remember not knowing what to look at first.
Yeah.
And I had my phone out because we were allowed to bring our phones, and I just wanted to take pictures of everything. And I would take a picture, then my eye would catch something else, and then I'd want to go over there to look at it.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just, there was not a lot of words that could describe that
Yeah.
moment, just because it was.
It was crowded. There were a lot of people.
Yeah.
In the initial moment, when everyone kind of rushed through the doors, it was crowded.
Yeah.
Later on, everyone kind of dispersed into the area, but for a couple minutes there, it was packed with people.
No, it was incredible, and I can't say enough good things about it, especially at night. That's what we'll talk about specifically in a little bit, but before we get on to too much about the actual event itself, I also want to talk about some of the interviews that we got to do with the celebrities.
Yes.
So we got to see a panelist of Universal creatives, Mark Woodbury, Stuart Craig, who did design on the Harry Potter films, Alan Gilmore, and then Terry Coop.
Terry Coop, yes.
And so they're kind of the people all behind Universal in the Wizarding World of Diagon Alley. Nothing really new came out of that. Only one little tidbit came from that, really, and that was kind of an elephant in the room question. Do you want to
I will talk
about
about it, yes. So basically people were wondering what the involvement of the 2 or 3 stars in the attraction, Escape from Gringotts, what the role of the original actors were.
Yeah.
So I know in the movie, obviously Bellatrix, Helena Bonham Carter, was part of this big scene that takes place in the ride. So they confirmed that Helena Bonham Carter filmed for the ride. They confirmed that Warwick Davis did. And they also, Donald Gleason.
Yep.
We forgot Donald Gleason.
Yeah, we did.
But anyway, Donald Gleason was there, Bill Weasley. But then someone asked about Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and whether they filmed new content for the park. And they confirmed that they did not.
Yes.
And so I don't have experience with this, but you got to see, and this was obvious to you.
Yeah, it was very obvious that Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson were CG.
Yeah.
And I mean, that even goes further on the train. The Emma Watson voice was almost unbearable. But of course, we'll get to that too whenever we actually talk about that. But besides talking to creative with that, then we got to sit there and we got to watch a panel with Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid, and Warwick Davis, Grip Hook, Professor Flitwick, and then Donald Gleason, who played Bill Weasley. And it was a fun little panel. They just kind of joked around the entire time. Robbie Coltrane's hilarious.
He is really hilarious.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, he had a couple funny things to say. He was talking about going on the attraction and kind of talking about it with his, he was there with his family, so that was really nice. A funny part happened when someone asked Donald Gleason about his new role in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I think that was a funny thing to mention. He immediately cut them off, said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't say anything."
Yeah.
Because obviously they wanted to hear, but I mean, he can't
Yeah.
say anything about the new Star Wars. So
Yeah, and it's always cool that we've been able to see the stars so up close like that.
we were right there in the front. Yeah.
The unfortunate part about the entire situation, though, if you don't get to see it often, then it's cool every time. And it was amazing the first couple times. It's still amazing. I love hearing them talk, even though they say the exact same answers every single time. And I have not heard one new thing from any of them. It's just new people saying the same sentences over and over again. but it's still such a cool experience. And I'm glad that we could look over and see the crowd of people standing there. And I know Tom Felton was signing autographs and stuff too.
And when we were talking about after the red carpet, we were let into Diagon Alley. The stars actually were in there too, and they got to walk around and experience Diagon Alley the same way we did. And they were very personable. I mean, they were walking around, talking to everybody, just really excited to be there.
Yeah,
I thought that was really nice.
I heard someone took a selfie with Tim Burton.
I know. We don't have to talk about it because I know you're really upset about it, but...
Nah, it's fine, you know.
Okay. I was walking around and I saw Tim Burton at the bar, which of course, and I was so nervous. I walked up to him, and I didn't expect to shake his hand, but I was like, "Excuse me, sir. I just want to say, I don't know. I'm a big fan. I don't even know what I said, but I remember shaking." And then he was like, "Oh, it's really nice." You know, he had like a really kind of low, and his hair was so crazy. And then I said, "Do you mind if I take a picture with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And so I hold up the phone, and it's so dark. Like I knew this picture wouldn't come out. And he's like, "You know what? That's fine. I'm better at dark pictures anyway." And I said, "Okay." So I took the picture. And I said, "Thank you, sir." I kept calling him sir, and then I shook his hand probably like 3 times, and then he walked away, and I was just like so nervous, but it was amazing. Yeah. Tim Burton. Helena Bonham Carter wasn't there. I didn't see her at the party. But Tim Burton, I guess, heard open bar, so we had to go. I was so excited. I texted you and I called him Time Burton. I put an E at the end. I'll just say it's autocorrect, but I don't think it was.
Well, I don't even want to talk about the whole situation anymore because I was in a much different place.
You were.
I think right now it's a perfect time to take a quick break.
Yes.
And then we'll come back and we're going to go through every little bit and piece of Diagon Alley. We're going to have lots of pictures, maybe some video if you're lucky, and we're going to go through it all. So we'll be back in a couple minutes and we will talk about Diagon Alley. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect trip to Universal, whether you stay on site at one of the world-class hotels or are in need of theme park tickets with round-trip transportation to and from Walt Disney World. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. So we are back, and it is time to get into the good stuff.
All right, we're going to talk about Diagon Alley. All of it, right? So
Yes, we are.
Okay. So let's talk about from the moment you walk in. So you walk through the London waterfront, which we have lots of pictures of. That's what they've been released for a while. That's what kind of was revealed when they brought the walls down. But you walk through underneath a brick walkway, and then immediately you're transported into what it exactly looks like in the movies. I mean, it's designed so, not exactly, things are different, but it's so immersive.
Yeah.
And you immediately forget that you were in a theme park with other attractions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's on the same vein as whenever you walk into Hogsmeade for the first time. It's definitely wider, and it's a different look than it is in the actual movies because that's built on sets. Everything's close, compact. This isn't that. However, it's so stunning when you first walk in, and especially walking through that brick wall. And, it would be awesome if they could do like the same thing in the first movie where Hagrid touches the bricks and then all of a sudden it opens up. But
yeah,
obviously that would be an amazing thing to do with it. But
I don't think it's necessary because the way that they made the arch, the bricks are staggered, so it's even though it's static, it's not moving. You still get the idea that these bricks have moved to let you through the area. So it's still a cool illusion when you walk through.
So in general, there's 3 different parts of Diagon Alley itself. I mean, not considering the London waterfront, I wouldn't really call that in Diagon Alley, even though it's a part of the full expansion. I consider Diagon Alley the section of 3 parts with Diagon Alley, the main street running up and down itself with Leaky
so that's
Cauldron.
the first street you walk in.
Yeah.
Anything leading up until Gringotts Bank is Diagon Alley.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it was in the movie. It's just that one street, and then you have break-offs, including Nocturne Alley, and then the kind of newly created for the park, more newly imagined, the Horizont Alley.
Horizontally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also within that whole part is Carket Market.
Carket Market, and that's the area that is covered with glass.
Yeah.
It looks like an old-timey, kind of very Victorian shopping market. And so
Right.
there's different booths set up, and it's beautiful the way it's set up. And there's lots of shops along the sides. Some of them are just fake fronts. You just get like windows, but everything's themed. Like no detail is missed. It looks like an authentic old shopping market.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the general gist of every single part of it. It's every inch of this place is themed, especially with designs from Mina Lima,
Exactly.
who did a lot of the design work for all the design work for the movie. It's like they literally were told to go crazy, put anything wherever you want it.
And when you say the design work, you mean we're talking about the graphic design,
Yes.
the typography, all the signage, all of that kind of stuff that was created by Mina Lima, this group that did all of that design for the films. So we got to hear them talk in February when we were here.
Yeah.
And they talked a little bit about what was upcoming with Diagon Alley, but I did not know it was to this extent.
No, it's...
I mean, there's nowhere you can look without seeing some kind of graphic representation
Yeah.
of like the Wizarding World.
But I expected that too, not on the scale that it is, but like you walk into Hogsmeade and you don't see stuff like that. You see the buildings that look like they came right from the movies.
Yes.
But this actually looks like a real working Wizarding World.
It does.
Not to be punny or whatever.
Oh, it's very punny, yeah.
But I kind of want to go through in different groups. I mean, we could talk about everything as you walk through and hit on each part, but I want to break it down into 4 categories: dining, the entertainment, shops, and then we will finish off with the attractions and keep everyone waiting for
Yes.
that, because that's what we do.
All right. So let's talk about dining first.
Okay.
So the first thing is Leaky Cauldron. That is the main dining location in Diagon Alley.
Yes.
That's where it's quick service, so it's very it's similar to the way that the Three Broomsticks is set up in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
In the fact that that's where you get your meal.
Yeah, and there's also an exterior entrance for Leaky Cauldron. However, that entrance actually doesn't even work at all. Because in the books and movies, you enter Leaky Cauldron from London, and it's a hidden sign. So as you approach the sign, it starts to appear in front of you. And that's true for London, but you can't get in from that side. You have to go in to Diagon Alley, and then it will immediately be on your left. And I mean, inside, it's obviously a lot bigger than the Leaky Cauldron is in the movies, but it has to be. It's a theme park. You want a lot of people in there. But I think the most stunning thing for me is the high cathedral ceilings in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you'd say probably 2 stories, 3 stories.
It's huge, and there's accessories. So they have like drawings on the wall, all like framed portraits.
Yeah.
And it's got like this wood scaffolding that goes all the way up to the ceiling, and then there's like really fancy iron windows.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful the way it's done.
And if you're sitting in the middle part, it's really well lit. Just perfect being inside.
Yeah.
Then there's also seating areas kind of on the side that are more like cavernous, like what you would think of as the old creepy guy in the corner eating
quintessential
his
pub, yeah.
turkey leg and not talking to anyone.
Yeah.
Just really deep and mysterious. But it's a lot darker back there. But hey, what are you going to do?
No, I think it's authentic. It's nice theming. Yeah.
So, and then there's also, of course, the actual Leaky Cauldron in there.
There
which
is.
We finally figured out why it's the Leaky Cauldron, and that's because there's a crack in it.
Yeah. It took a lot of investigating.
It did.
Like the
Years.
Nancy Drew of the Diz.
Years of investigation.
No, but it's nice. It's just kind of like a design feature. It's on the back wall. It's got this huge fireplace, and it's sitting right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But it's just a nice design feature. It's cool.
The food itself, we tried at least 6 or 7 different things. A very extensive menu. It had about 12 items on there.
Yeah.
So some of the things we got to sample were fisherman's pie,
They had like a shepherd's pie, cottage pie.
Cottage pie.
We had the bangers and mash, which was fantastic. They had a thing called the toad in the hole, which is sausage baked into a Yorkshire pudding. Mm-hmm. Yes, wonderful. Then we had a couple desserts too.
Yeah. Well, fish and chips.
Oh, we did have fish and chips. Yes.
They have a lamb and Guinness stew, which was incredible.
It is.
Served with a soda bread, which I guess they make it with baking soda.
I thought they used Fanta.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what the soda
That's where
is.
that orange flavor came from. Okay.
But they have that. So do we talk? You want to go to desserts?
Yeah, and desserts. The most popular thing there is a sticky toffee.
Sticky toffee pudding, which was all sold out, so we couldn't try that one. However, we did try 2 other ones. There was a chocolate ganache type thing with a cherry.
Which was excellent.
It was very good. It came in like a little mason jar with a pop top. Then there was also a raspberry bourbon trifle kind of thing.
Yeah. Which was...
It was okay. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat it.
Overall, though, the food was excellent
Very
there.
good. Very authentic. It feels like British good pub food.
And once again, kind of in the same line as Three Broomsticks, and then Springfield afterwards, it's taking theme park food and kind of turning it upside down and actually making it high quality, really delicious. Food comes out extremely quickly. They give you, it's kind of set up like Be Our Guest style dining now, where at Be Our Guest, you get a little rose, take that to your table, the rose thing, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called,
And you put it on the table, and then all of a sudden they bring your food. They do the same thing here, except with a candlestick. And
a number.
Yeah, a number on the candlestick.
There's no RFID or anything in this, but it's just as quick.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the drinks? They have specialty non-alcoholic drinks here.
Yeah. They've really upped their game for this part of the park, making new drinks. I'm going to get my tongue tied a couple times saying some of these because there are multiple words for each one. But there's 4 specific new drinks that I want to talk about. The tongue-tying lemon squash, which we both enjoyed that. It was
tart. It was very good.
It was basically lemonade.
It was lemonade, but high quality lemonade. It didn't taste like country time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Otter's fizzy orange juice.
Okay, I didn't care much for this. It was like sparkling tang.
Yeah, but it had a sugar rim.
Yeah.
And then an orange on top of it too.
Okay, so it was a cocktail, but without any.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know you did.
But yeah, it was like taking orange juice and pouring in Sprite.
Yeah.
Then they had the fishy green ale, which we both hated.
This was the boba tea.
Yeah.
So they essentially have Japanese boba tea where they put those little things in the bottom.
The boba balls.
Yeah. I don't even know what they are really, but they're just these little things, and then they give you a thicker straw, and then you're supposed to drink them up through the straw, and then choke and die, I think. I'm sure there's some kind of safety hazard with that.
The last time I checked, they were still banning them in several countries.
Because of health reasons. Yeah. It's like horrible for you.
But the drink itself, it didn't appeal to me. It had a little bit of a mint taste with a little bit of lime.
We couldn't finish it.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And then the last one, the Peachtree Fizzing Tea, I didn't like it. You enjoyed it.
I did. It was peachy and it was fruity, but it wasn't overly sweet.
Yeah.
It almost was, I don't know.
I guess that's what would have helped with me. It just left a bland taste on my mouth because of that. And then they still have your regular and frozen butterbeer. That didn't go away.
Yes.
And then it wasn't confirmed by us, but other people confirmed, I guess, with Universal that warm butterbeer will be back in the winter.
Okay.
I still don't know. I think they need to tweak the recipe from the one that we had.
Yeah, it was liquid cake. I couldn't drink that.
Yeah, but that might be back.
So, you want to move on to another location?
Sure.
Florian Fortescue's Ice Cream Parlor.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
This is a huge draw for people. I mean, people are very excited about this because this place offers authentic ice cream that they talk about in the books.
Yeah.
Particularly the strawberry peanut butter ice cream. So we got to try a bunch of them, and they have very unique flavors. And I thought the ice cream was delicious.
Yeah.
Really good quality made ice cream. Some of the unique ones, they have chocolate chili, which was good. They have a Earl Grey lavender, which I felt like tasted like a 7th generation house cleaner. But it was very good. It just tasted clean. Like it tasted like
exactly
fresh. I don't know.
No, and then of course the strawberry and peanut butter.
Yes,
the classic one.
It was good. It was very peanut buttery.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also have like a blondie one. They have clotted cream, which was very interesting. But the huge draw for this, I think, is the
butterbeer.
Butterbeer frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
And after trying it, I thought about it. I have to say, I wouldn't call it butterbeer ice cream. I would call it the cream topping that everyone loves on butterbeer that some people in this room may ask for just cups of the topping.
I fully own up to that. I have asked people just for the foam at the top, and they always say no. Yeah. Which I get it, but I just want the foam.
So, yeah, it kind of tastes like that with then a slight hint of the butterscotch.
And there's butterscotch or some like swirls in the center of it.
But it's excellent. I really liked the hand scooped ice creams. I just enjoy.
Well, this came
those
out of like a
lot.
frozen yogurt machine. It came out of like a Dole Whip kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dairy Queen style.
Dairy Queen.
Very, very excellent, though.
Yeah.
Just a cute little shop. A lot of neat stuff happening in there, and I like the costumes. It's great.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about it.
And you can sample it Baskin Robbins style, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and
you don't have to commit to something.
They are very happy to give out samples. I
Yeah.
mean, they have thousands of those little spoons.
They did. And they have toppings and whatever. It's a nice ice cream shop.
Yeah, it is. But going back to drinks, though, because we didn't really hit on enough drinks, Gilly Water.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, I want to talk about Gilly Water,
Yes.
and then we'll get to your beer.
Okay.
Because Gilly Water is good for the soul.
Well.
So this is Gilly Water, if you can see. Right now my Gilly Water is green, but that's because I had the elixir to induce euphoria. And if I sound ridiculous,
You
it's
do.
because I am.
Well, can we first just say that the whole time we've been saying Gilly Water or in a specific way because of Gilly, the
Gilly.
character from SNL. Gilly. What? Sorry. Yeah.
So Gilly Water is purified water.
It's tap water. I mean, it's just flat water. It's not sparkling or anything.
But it's not Florida water.
No.
clean.
Yeah, it's clean.
So they have the bottles of water set up, and they open it up, and then you choose one of 4 different elixirs. They have the Draft of Peace. They have the Babbling Beverage Mixture.
Yes.
They have the Elixir to Induce Euphoria, and then they have the Fire Protection Potion. And so basically, as we talked about it, it's very similar to like the Mios in a
It's a
sense.
squeezable drink.
Yeah.
Liquid
However,
drop things.
they pour these in, and so then you get flavored water. Like the one that I had, this green one, the elixir, that is actually pineapple flavored with a bunch of other different fruits mixed in as well.
Yeah. She said something about cucumber and mint. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't taste the
didn't.
cucumbers or mint, but I taste the pineapple, and it's growing on me every time I take a sip.
I don't
It's
like flavored
refreshing.
water.
Well, neither do I, but it appealed to me, and I think the best part about it is that you get to take the vial home for whichever one you choose.
That's a cool souvenir.
It is, and I mean, it's definitely more popular. I know everyone was kind of ticked at the original Wizarding World whenever you had the choice of some pre-bottled teas and lemonade, and then you had pumpkin juice and butterbeer and water. That was basically the only thing you could have because they don't serve soda in the Wizarding World.
So they've really added a lot of options for those people that want something.
Yeah,
They want something different than the water and the other, the other thing. They're not drinking beer, so these are good options. I mean, these are 8 different drinks that they could choose from now. So
exactly, and I mean, I've got to imagine that it's relatively healthy too, because it's just kind of a little bit of sugar put into water.
Well, we can't confirm that though.
Yeah, we can't.
No, it could have everything.
But J.K. Rowling wouldn't do that to the kids.
You're probably right.
She cares about them too much.
She does.
She was once one of them. On with your beer. 'Cause
Okay.
I know you're really excited about
I am
that.
excited about this. So the specialty beers is sold in a few places. Leaky Cauldron. They have another place over in Carket Market that you can buy it at. But the main bar is called the Fountain of Fair Fortune, and that's over on Horizont Alley, right across from the only bathrooms. We should talk about the only bathrooms in Diagon Alley are over in the back to the left-hand side past Gringotts.
It is very important after you go into the shop and try beer.
It is. So they have 2 specialty beers.
Yep.
Which you have right in front of you, so you might want to read.
The Wizard's Brew.
Yes.
That's a nice dark stout. However, it's not. When you hear stout, usually you think of something that's very heavy. It's like a winter beer. You don't want that on a hot summer day. However, we talked to one of the managers in food and beverage, and he confirmed that they actually lightened it up a bit, working with Florida Brewing Company the same way they did on the Hogshead beer and the Duff beer. But no, they really lightened it up and made it really drinkable for the hot time. I mean, it was your favorite.
It was a sweeter stout, but it was light. And what he mentioned was they wanted a darker beer that looked authentic to kind of the area. So you're drinking a dark stout. It looks cool when you're walking through Diagon Alley. The other one is more of a lager.
Yeah, that was the Dragon Scale.
Dragon Scale.
I love the tap handle on it.
I do too.
It is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
just a dragon wrapped around the top, but itself, it is a lager type beer, very similar to the Hogshead. I preferred it to the Hogshead, I think. It just had a little bit less of a sweeter taste to me, but that's my palate.
I would need to have them side by side. I wouldn't be able to remember.
I don't think you're allowed to take them openly on the
but
Hogwarts Express.
Maybe the same day I'll go over on the Hogwarts Express and try both.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
However, both great new additions.
Oh, yeah. And I love seeing that it's not just standard Bud Light, Amstel Light. They have all those options still for you, but it's nice that they put this effort into making custom ones.
It absolutely is. And it's just another success in terms of their partnership with Florida Brewing Company.
Success. Yeah.
Success. So,
all right.
Is there anything else we want to talk about in food and beverage? I think
that's a good...
Well, I was going to say, they do have the one food cart outside of Diagon Alley in the London area that sells the sausages that I can't even think of their name, but there is food options in London too.
In London, yeah.
So I don't think that's as important as everything else that we discussed.
I agree. But we hit the main ones: the beer, butterbeer ice cream, all the good food in Leaky Cauldron. Good.
I like it.
Yes.
Okay. So, entertainment.
Yeah. So there are two main pieces of entertainment that they put on specifically in Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
The first one, and you're gonna have to remind me of her name, but is a
Celestina
Warbeck
and the Banshees.
This is a musical show that they put on the same stage back in Carket Market, where there's a lead singer and they perform songs, and the Banshees, which are her backup dancers and singers, run kind of through the crowd. They were doing kind of cool stuff. It's just basically a show where you stand and watch, and they sing the songs that are from.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I missed
this.
You did, yeah. I had previous obligations of standing in lines and...
You were busy.
Doing absolutely anything else.
Well,
however, I wasn't really drawn in on going to that one. I was more excited about the tale of the three brothers being brought to life using marionettes. So they unveiled a couple weeks ago on the Universal official blog that they would be bringing the tale of the three brothers from the Tales of Beetle the Bard into real life with marionettes, and it absolutely blew me away. Everything that I thought this show was going to be was even more. The marionettes themselves were extremely detailed. They looked kind of like the same animation style that was actually in the movie.
So if you've seen the movie, when they tell the story of the tale of the three brothers, they use this really cool effect where it almost looks like cut paper, and they do these really nice shadow kind of animation where they tell the story, and it's really beautiful. I was blown away by this show, the quality of the puppets, and I just want to mention that we do have a full video of the show up on our YouTube page, which we'll link to obviously from the show notes. But there are 4 actors, and they each have a puppet, and they play a different brother, and then Death is another big character in this story.
Let's go ahead and show just a really short clip of this, just so we can give you a better idea of how cool it was.
Perfect.
So here we go.
Then the second brother, who was an arrogant man, decided that he wanted to humiliate Death still further and asked for the power to recall others from Death. So Death picked up a stone from the riverbank and gave it to him.
Finally, Death turned toward the third brother, a humble and wise man. He did not trust Death, so he asked for something that would enable him to go forth from that place without being followed by Death. And Death, most unwillingly, handed over his own cloak of invisibility.
So that kind of gives you a general idea about what it was like. An amazing little show. It ran only about 8 to 9 minutes long,
which I thought was perfect time to just, you're standing. There's no seating or anything. This is just happening in the market. So just to stand there and watch the show, it's really well done. I think they outdid themselves in this show.
And as a lazy person that I am, it was a nice little breakaway to see that.
I agree.
And then I think we also have to mention too that technically the night bus conductor is a form of entertainment, even though he isn't your choice form of entertainment.
I had nothing against it. It's very interactive, so those types of things in the same sense as kind of like Turtle Talk with Crush, where you're sitting there and then the actor interacts with you and says your name. It's that type of thing, which is fun to watch for me, but I don't care that much about interacting with him.
I enjoyed the actor. I thought he was good. However, the head literally just made a bunch of pun jokes the entire time about not having a body.
I don't know how many other places there are to go with that. I mean, those are the only jokes you got. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cute experience. I think for us, there weren't as many people doing it at the time.
Yeah.
I would imagine that if the crowd were a bit bigger around the bus and the conductor, it would be a little bit more, I don't know, varied.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like the same thing over and over again.
And I think the important thing to say, though, is this is definitely a step up from Hogsmeade, where you literally only had you had the frog choir, which awful, and then you also have the two houses, the Beauxbatons and the Durmstrongs coming out for the Triwizard Spirit Rally, and
it's basically ribbon dancing.
Yeah, and then a bunch of jumping.
There is jumping
with sticks.
Yeah,
and then you could technically call the conductor a form of entertainment, but he just stood out there.
It's an interactive experience. Let's say that.
Yeah, but they definitely went up a couple notches on entertainment. So let's go over a little bit of the shops and talk about our favorite ones.
Okay,
I think we can both say our favorite right off the bat, though. Wizards. Wizards, Wheezes. Yes. So this is a huge part, or not a huge part, but it's a very prominent part in the movies and in the books as well. This is the shop that Fred and George open up. Once they escape from Hogwarts, they leave, and then they go open this up. But yeah. That Dolores Umbridge.
Yes.
It's all her fault.
Staunton. Yeah.
However, we are the ones who actually get the benefits of it, because the shop's amazing. The big highlight of the shop is out front. There's a Weasley twin with a top hat, and he'll lift it up.
Yeah.
And there'll be nothing there, and then he puts it down, and then when he lifts it up again, there's a bunny.
It's magic. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
This is actually prominent in the movie. They show this a lot. They show that it's the big storefront. I mean, it's what you see, and that's how you recognize the shop. But in addition to that animatronic, there's a lot of cool designs and signs on the wall itself.
Yeah.
And then you walk in the store, and even though the technical shopping area of the store is fairly small, it's probably 2.5, 3 stories high, with so much to look at above.
Yep.
There's staircases, there's moving cauldrons, there's all kinds of animatronics all over the store. And then if you look to the very top of the store, there is a window
with fireworks going off.
Yeah.
And as you look up there, you also see Umbridge on a unicycle.
She is. Because
it was pretty cool. But yeah, they, of course, they closed down Zonko's and Hogsmeade because this shop was coming out, and I'm glad they did, because this shop blows it away. Zonko's would be embarrassing to go into now after seeing this. Just absolutely just an abomination of universal creative. I'm joking.
It's a bit strong, but
it's much better though.
Yeah, it is,
and it's cool to see something that wasn't just like a creation in the minds, and it was actually a shop.
So the things you can buy here, we have a couple of them here.
Yeah,
you can see the Weasley's red gloved hand. That's a pretty familiar mark of the store.
Yeah.
And then there's like funny gag gifts. There's the extendable ear that you can hear things far away.
Yeah.
Whoopee cushions. The team members there run around making fake farts at everyone.
Because, they don't have time to stock shelves.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they needed to stock anything because it was just a preview. But they also have...
Well, they have the snack boxes.
Yeah, snack boxes, which are expensive.
Yeah, they're about $40, and they contain different gag things that the Weasleys came up with so that it could help you get out of your classes. Like, one of them is I can't say it, puking.
Pastels. I would say that. It could be wrong, but that's how I would pronounce it.
Yeah, it's better than my pronunciation of it.
Well, let's just...
Yeah, but, so they're in this fun little box. So it's very, very colorful, very neat.
This is the QVC portion of this.
It is. If you look at it, they made a little hole there so you could see what's inside.
Yeah.
However, we opened this up, but we didn't try
We're going to try them, yeah. So.
Yeah, we're going to try them right now.
Should we while you try it, I'm going to describe a little bit.
This has never been done before.
Are they all stuck together?
They are literally all stuck together. This is going horribly.
Basically, in the book and the movie, the point of these are you feed them to your friends, and they look like candy, but in reality, they make you throw up.
Well, they start off tasting like candy.
Okay, and then what happens? You should talk or something, because I'm going to...
Well, yeah, I'm talking, but I have something in my mouth, and I feel like we didn't think this part through well enough.
Okay, well, we can still
Because
talk through this. It's just horrible TV. This isn't TV.
It's not TV. It's
It's too
just
big.
sweet.
Yeah, it tastes like candy.
It's too big for my mouth, and it's just sweet. I'm sure one day
Yeah.
it'll make me throw up, but well, this was very uneventful. I thought that would go a lot better.
Give them to Dustin, then he can cackle while he eats them. Oh, wait. Oh, something happened. There's like a center.
There's a juicy center.
Yeah, I don't want it. Give me a napkin.
I feel like I can't cut through.
Okay.
I don't have strong enough teeth.
That was horrible. Good job, Craig.
Okay.
Are you eating the whole thing?
I'm getting to it.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead and talk about the store that's connected to the Quidditch store.
This is the Quidditch store, so Quality Quidditch Supplies. Is right next door to all of it, to Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. It's actually connected. You can walk through them. And they have a lot of Quidditch supplies, so you can buy shirts, scarves, merchandise for all the different houses there. Do you need a napkin?
No, I'm good.
And then they also have cool displays. There's animatronics there. They have old robes and stuff you can look at.
Yeah.
They have hats. The unique stuff here, though, were these shirts that were from the Quidditch teams that the characters in the book supported. So the Chudley Cannons, the Ireland team. What else? Oh, good Lord.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for getting to me during that, and then it was just my reaction. But yeah, so you can get this Quidditch stuff there. And then attached to this is also another store where you can buy a DVD, right? You
Yeah.
want to talk about this?
Yeah, this is one of the most ridiculous stores that is going to make so much money, but I don't think it should have ever happened. One of the coolest things I thought of that should have gone in place is whenever you see the sign with Sirius Black on it, have you seen this wizard? It would be so awesome if they could do a picture of you and say, have you seen this wizard? Or have you seen this witch? And that would be amazing.
I completely agree. I would love them to take that concept and not only just photos, but imagine them printing like posters
Yeah.
for your wall to hang up a poster where
Yeah.
you have this photo of yourself, like Sirius Black.
However, their idea was you bring your entire family in a room and you stand in front of a green screen and you do like little gestures and stuff depending on where you are. You can like point up and then they give you this DVD of yourself on the green screen set. Obviously not with the green screen. It's got you now in Hogsmeade and then it'll have you somewhere else in Diagon
I suppose
Alley
they could make a mistake and not put the footage in, and it could just be your family sitting in front of a green screen reacting to nothing.
That would be the best. That's what I would.
I would rather have that.
$70 for that.
Yeah.
And that's really not an exaggeration on the price.
It's
So-
$70. It's expensive.
I don't want to say
Yeah.
a lot about it because we haven't experienced it, but I would
No.
say that's potentially one of the only misses.
Yeah,
in
I agree.
This whole section. So that's there too. Other stores that are pretty cool: Wiseacres, Wizarding.
Yep. So that had kind of standard merchandise. This is just Hogwarts merchandise, shirts, caps, things like that. There's also some butterbeer merchandise there.
Hogwarts Express merchandise.
Yes, Hogwarts Express, which you are not wearing right now.
I'm not.
There's also a store called Scribulus, which has a lot of cool kind of stationary office things. You can buy the quills with the big feathers that are actually just pens. Things
Very
like that.
similar to the Owl Post
Exactly.
over in
Yeah.
Hogsmeade. And then they also had the new bank exchange, which you get you can trade in your actual money for the
Yeah.
the banknotes. And I actually had one, and I'm pretty sure that I just spit my puking pastille into the bag that still had the banknote.
Great. So there's $20 down the drain. Anyway, it's very similar to the concept of Disney dollars, where
Yeah.
you buy this and you can use it to pay for things. You can buy merchandise with
Yeah.
it. However, I think most people will buy these as souvenirs because it's designed really well. It looks like a wizard money banknote.
Yeah.
And then you use it keep it as a souvenir.
And they also have another one of the animated
Animatronics. Yeah.
the animated goblins. in there.
Goblin.
So if you don't get to see it inside Gringotts, then you can always go in there and see it.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Madame Malkin's
Okay.
robes
Just-
for all occasions.
So this, just briefly, it's on the main section of Diagon Alley, leading up to Gringotts, and inside they have clothing So you can buy your robes there. They have a few things on display. They have a few costumes from the movie on display that the characters like McGonagall, Dumbledore, they wore in the films. So it's nice to go in and see.
Yep.
So that's where you get your clothing.
It's a clothes store.
It is cool.
I don't think there's any new
clothes are cool.
in there.
No, it's just clothes.
Not cool. Clothes.
Right next door, I do want to mention quickly that there is a Ilops Owl Emporium, which is not really a store. There's nothing to buy in there. It's just kind of a cool experience where you walk in the door, and then above you are a dozen owls.
Yeah.
And they're in cages. Some are animatronic. They're moving. But there's really good detail in there, and the whole thing is covered in bird poop.
Yeah. So that happened. So one thing that we do need to talk about, because we haven't really talked about it at all yet, besides mentioning it the first time, Nocturne Alley.
Nocturne Alley.
The reason we haven't talked about it is because nothing is really down there except for Bergen and Berks. Excuse me.
Borgin and Borks. Yes.
That's where you can get your darker wizard gear.
Yeah.
So
can we talk about Nocturne Alley just for a couple minutes? And because I think it's one of the most amazing places in the whole section.
Yeah.
The way that they've done it, and this was kind of difficult to tell the night we were there because it was dark outside, but Nocturne Alley is completely indoors.
Yeah.
So there's a roof above you, and they project clouds and things to make it look like you're outside at night. And so it's really well done. It was hard to take pictures in there. It was almost a little hard to see when you walked in.
Yeah.
But it makes it so authentic. And there's some cool interactive things to see as you walk around. But then you're right. The shop there is Borgin and Burke's.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where you're going to get your Death Eater mask. And just a lot of skulls and that kind of vibe in general. A little bit new merchandise featuring the darker side. This was probably my favorite section to stand in. It seemed like no one was going down there because I don't know if they were afraid to.
Everyone was afraid.
I'm almost thinking that a lot of the people that we were with didn't really know that there was something down there.
I will say this, and this I don't want to get into a thing, but I just want to say when we were there with the media, I felt like people didn't really understand Harry Potter. They didn't really have a big knowledge because we were there with other media things that were covering for TV and stuff like that.
We're
and
nerds.
that kind of but I loved that we were there and we knew about the stuff. So I mean that was half the fun is walking around and seeing names you recognize, seeing things references that you know. Yeah.
And down in Nocturne Alley, like you said, there are interactive experiences, and there's one that doesn't require the interactive ones that we've talked about before. Whenever they were still just a rumor. Which has now been confirmed and really confirmed. But there's one interactive feature where there's like a skeleton projected on a screen and you move and the skeleton moves right with you.
Yeah.
It's really neat. But the interactive elements there that are the best ones are ones you use with the interactive wands.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a bit more, I think.
I think we're ready to
talk about that now? Okay.
Yeah. So the interactive wands.
Well, you can buy the wands.
You can buy them.
Yes.
This is an interactive wand. It's made of oak and birch.
And plastic.
No,
but it's really nice. So they're very similar to the ones that have been offered before in Hogsmeade and other places.
Yeah.
However, there's an RFID signal or something.
It's a chip.
Very similar to kind of when you have an RFID chip in or a hotel key or something like that. And so what happens is you stand on a designated location. There's a marker on the ground.
Yes.
And then it'll tell you the movement you need to make, in addition, and the spell that you need to say.
Yeah.
And then once you do that movement, that will trigger the animatronic or effect to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Accio map.
I don't think it's going to work here.
Accio map.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. So then they also have this map that actually shows you the locations where you can. That
was the dorkiest thing I've ever been a part of, by the way.
But it worked. It has the actual locations of where you find the interactive elements, and then it also shows you the actual way you need to perform the spells in order to make it happen. And I didn't really try it out that much, just because
we had a lot going on. We were there to get photos and content. But
exactly, but the best thing I can say from it is most people got it to work about 1 out of every 5 chances.
It was But
So-
I will say this though, it's pretty advanced
Yeah.
technology. I mean, it's a complicated concept, I
Yeah.
think, because there are so many variables. Someone could be shorter, someone could be taller. They can not doing
Yeah.
it specifically right. So I think it's something that they're going to have to adjust.
I agree.
But I think once they do, I think it's really nice. It's very reminiscent to me of Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom in the fact that it's something that you're stand in a position and then you do an action. But this takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
A lot more interactive.
Yeah,
So,
the price of the wands is $45. So it's not anything cheap. I think a lot of people will be buying them, and unfortunately, I think a lot of people will be waiting a long time to see some of the elements, just because it takes so long sometimes to get your spell to work.
Yeah.
But a really, really cool addition, and you can get these at 2 different places: Ollivander's, and also Gregorovich's wand shop.
yes.
So a lot of people, they think Ollivander's, and that's where you get your wands. You can get your wands at other places
Yeah.
in Harry Potter lore. It's just Ollivander's is kind of the best.
Well, Ollivander's has something that Gregorovich doesn't offer, a show.
Yeah.
Very similar to the shop in Hogsmeade.
That's a
so I
good
think
point.
that's a big draw.
Yeah.
And then, so that show still does take place. From what I hear, it's very similar to the one that takes place in Hogsmeade. But
Yeah.
if you don't really want to take part in that, it's a nice place to go over
Yeah.
to Gregorovich and get your wand there.
And there's a lot more rooms there.
Yes.
So
well,
it's
sure.
not going to have the same issues as the one in Hogsmeade did, where you're waiting outside for 90 minutes
Yeah.
at a time. This is all going to be inside and a lot quicker, hopefully. But just going back to the interactive wands, too, for a second, you can get the interactive wands in the Zodiac sign wands.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
there's 12 of them.
Sure.
Who would have thunk?
I don't know. The astrology people.
Okay. And then you can also get them for 3 characters.
Are we putting them down?
Harry, Hermione, and Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Yes.
So once again, Ron gets the shaft.
I mean, he's not doing anything.
It's Ginger's.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
And I was wrong earlier. It's Emma Watson that went to Brown. I don't
Oh.
know what Rupert Grint didn't do anything.
Oh, Cheetos.
He's eating Cheetos.
Eating Cheetos.
Yeah.
So let's get on to the important stuff.
All right. Yeah. Let's talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
So first, we want to talk about Hogwarts Express.
I would like to do that.
Great. Okay. So Hogwarts Express is the attraction that we've kind of talked about a lot because it's unique in the fact that it takes guests from one park to another.
Yeah.
And so that obviously requires you to have a 2-park admission.
Yeah.
So you can't ride the Hogwarts Express unless you have a 2-park pass.
Exactly.
Because what it's essentially doing is it's taking you from London at King's Cross Station to Hogsmeade Station,
Yeah.
which is right outside Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventure.
Yeah, and we have to say once again, it's been said multiple times, but during this summer and possibly for an extended period of time, it might be a scenario where you have to have a 2-day 2-park pass in
Okay.
order to get to experience both the trip to Hogsmeade and then back to Diagon Alley, because there's rumors that they're gonna put a kibosh on riding it both ways just because of capacity issues. But what's your feeling on the Hogwarts Express in general?
I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really nicely well done experience. I didn't have too high of expectations for it. I know that essentially it is a mode of transportation to get
Yeah.
people from one section of one park to another park. However, I think the way that they executed it was unbelievable. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what's kind of been reported before was that you sit in a cabin on a train, and then the window is a screen that shows a film that makes it look like you're moving down
Yeah.
the Scottish countryside or English countryside to get to Hogwarts Castle.
Yeah.
But I think that it was integrated so well into the compartment, and then there was also, I don't know if it was a screen or just a lighting effect on the opposite side, but it really just makes an interactive experience. And so having that all together, I thought it was a great little thing, and it was longer than I expected.
Yeah, it definitely, for a 4-minute ride, it felt very long. But I think right now we'll just show a couple seconds
Sure, let's do that.
here of what you're going to experience. Keep in mind that what you're going to see here is a little bit blurry because it never goes well when you're filming a video screen.
Yeah.
And then there's also lights in the compartment. But here's just a brief clip of what you can see going from Hogsmeade to Diagon Alley. Okay, so that's kind of the gist of what it's like there. In terms of the Hogsmeade train station, I wasn't overly blown away with it. It was beautiful. It
was beautiful, and I told you this before after we did it, but for me, I enjoyed the Hogsmeade station because I had just come from London.
Yeah.
And I knew it would be cool to do it, but I didn't expect the experience to be that exciting because I felt like you came from London, you go on the train ride, you experience the whole movie, the attraction, and then you get off the train and you're in Hogsmeade Station. And I told you this, that I never thought that I would want to go into Hogsmeade because I had just seen Diagon Alley, and I've been to Hogsmeade a bunch.
Yep.
But I really had that excitement that I wanted to go into Hogsmeade and experience those things and go to Hogwarts, and I think that that's really going to affect people. Yeah.
As I've said multiple times now, I've never been to London before. King's Cross. Do you think it was accurate for what the station actually
absolutely. I mean, it's a condensed model of it, and I would expand that from King's Cross to the whole London waterfront. And we've gotten comments, like people live in London, and they're just amazed at the level of detail and how similar it looks to London.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention is you do get to walk through into platform 9 3/4. Yes. However, I don't think we should spoil how it's done.
No, let's save that. Yeah.
But you do get to do that experience. It wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
But
I think yeah.
No, I don't even.
Let's leave it. Yeah.
We'll leave it there. But then you go through and you see the train, and I hope that the train's always going to be parked there when you first walk in. I know that.
So you want them to stop guests? No, because it can't.
But it's a sight to see whenever you're there, and I think even being on it is amazing, but even better is watching it pull out.
Yeah.
It's an incredible moment. I mean, this is a full-size train with 3 compartments. There's no conductor probably riding on it because that would be dangerous. It's wide open.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But I think we have just a brief clip now of it pulling out, so we will cut to that. So, I think in general, the Hogwarts Express is worth every bit of money to actually upgrade to the 2-park pass. Do you agree?
I don't know if I mean, I think it's a great experience. I would not just buy a ticket to only do that one thing. I would go into Diagon Alley if I could.
Well, I don't think anyone just buys it to do one thing.
Okay, but if you ask me the question, do you think the Hogwarts Express is worth it to upgrade your ticket?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like if everyone's doing everything
individual days. Yeah, no, I know.
And they want to. I mean, if you want to experience everything, technically you do need that extra ticket to do it. Yeah. And I think it's worth it, even if you're not going to spend more than an hour or two in the other park. I think it's still worth it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I
would agree.
It's a lot of cool technology, and it's smooth and it's fun, and everyone is so excited and in character there right now.
Yeah.
Which hopefully that lasts for a little while
I think
before they start talking on the job.
Okay.
But so A+ in my book.
Oh yeah, for me too. Absolutely.
However, the big attraction is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts.
Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts.
And that gets an A+++ in my book.
Okay.
But
well, so let's talk. I mean, so we were there for the media preview on Wednesday night, and everyone was going on. We heard that it was open, so we were all excited. Yeah. And then we got up to it, and there are test seats on the side, and I tested it, and I did not fit. So it is extremely tight, and I'll just be very honest here. It wasn't my gut. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
It's the legs. There's a lap bar constraint that hugs your knee area, including your thigh and your calf.
Yeah.
And if you're bulky in that area, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And you'll explain part of the ride that will justify this.
Yeah.
But I see this being a fairly big problem because I think quite a few people will have this issue.
A lot of people.
And you saw that happening.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people get up there.
Sure.
And a lot of the delays in the ride running wasn't just because they're still getting the kinks fixed before it opens on July 8th, but just in general, the loading process is very, very intricate. The seat looks exactly like the Mummy.
And we've seen that concept
yeah.
art and we see all the photos, so in my head, I didn't expect anything. I mean,
However, the restraint itself has a little bit of extra cushion on the front of the shins. That's what it would be called?
that
Bottom part of your leg? Yeah, shins.
I believe
because
that's
you wear
your
shin pads if you
shin.
play soccer. So it's got this little extra part.
Yeah.
Because...
We actually have a photo of it if you want to show it.
Yeah. So that holds you really in there, which Sean's exactly right.
Yeah.
Your legs are very trapped in there. It reminded me a lot of the mine train in terms of the width that you had, but in terms of how far forward you can go, the shins caused a really big issue.
There was just nowhere for your legs to go. There was no other option. So
Exactly. And it was necessary because the first part of the ride, like the first big drop, it's one of the coolest elements I've ever seen on anything before. You're sitting in the car looking straight at a screen, and all of a sudden it starts to tilt downwards, and like the whole thing's moving. And
so you really brace yourself on your legs. I mean, if you're putting pressure there.
You're held looking straight down. So
Okay.
not straight down. It's not even that steep of a drop, but you're moving forward and you're sitting there for so long that it is kind of necessary to have that
Sure.
extra grasp on you.
So just to reiterate, I would say if you have if you're considering maybe having an issue, test it out front.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to hold up things inside, let alone maybe be embarrassing. So just test it out front.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And on that level too, if you were able to ride, let's say, Forbidden Journey, because your problem isn't your upper body,
It's a very different issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forbidden Journey's issue was that a lot of people couldn't do it because they had bigger upper bodies and the harness was hitting their top shoulders and not closing far enough. This is the opposite issue. For people who have bigger lower bodies, that's really going to affect them. So just because you can ride one doesn't mean you'll be able to ride the other necessarily, but that's why the test seats are there. Use them. It will save a really long line.
And there's no one there pointing and laughing at you, so just do it.
Exactly. So let's actually get back to the ride.
That said, we did both get to go through the queue, which, I'll be honest, that's just enough. I mean, the queue is beautiful. You walk into the doors, and you're immediately brought into the bank lobby, which there's lots of photos of.
However, I don't believe that's true. If you do if you have to go down in the extended portion, you're going to go all the way down outside before you come back up to the bank lobby. We didn't wait in a line long enough, and it was all closed off and chained off, and there weren't team members down there, so we didn't really get to experience where the extended queue went.
Sure.
However, you're right. You will, if you don't have to wait really long for it, you're going to go straight into the bank lobby. And that's where the animatronic goblins are that we have seen videos and pictures of.
And they are some of the most amazing animatronics I've ever seen.
Yeah, just incredible.
Yeah.
I believe there's 7 different ones in there, and some of them are just sitting, but then there is, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head.
Grip Hook?
That one's not Grip Hook.
Then I don't know any other ones.
Yeah. But the main one actually does a little speech, so we have a clip of that.
Okay,
so
good.
Here it is.
If you wish to open an account, make your way to the security office, where your Gringotts identification photo will be taken. Then, go directly to the office at the end of the corridor. From there, you will be escorted to the vaults. Well, that's all. Move along.
Okay.
So I remembered his name. Demon Craig T. Nelson.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
so hilarious.
Oh, thanks. I really thought about it for a while.
I'm sure it'll once again make Kathy happy that you're ripping on Craig T. Nelson.
I love Craig T. Nelson.
Everyone loves Craig T. Nelson.
Who doesn't?
So, just an amazing part of the ride.
Yes.
And that's not even... I don't even think that's my favorite part, though, in terms of the queue itself.
No, me neither. So you walk down the hallway, and it's all designed very beautifully. And then you get to Bill Weasley's office.
Before that, right after you leave the bank, they pull you aside, and they force you into this really awkward picture section. It's terrible because... If you've been on The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man before, sometimes they'll have a green screen set up as you leave the offices of the Daily Bugle, and whenever you're leaving, they'll be like, okay, let's get your picture real quick. No, I don't want to. Like, no, we got to take your picture before you can move on, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't really force us to. Everyone was just kind of volunteering because they were really excited in this situation, but... Basically, they wanted to set you up so they can take a picture. And because of the ride being so technologically advanced, there was no way to do an on-ride photo. I mean, they probably could have made it happen.
I think everyone would look dead in the photo if they did.
You have to use 3D glasses, so who would want like a ride photo in your 3D glasses?
I don't know, cool people. Okay, so we took a picture.
We took a picture, and I mean, this was the best we could do. We're amazing looking.
We are amazing.
This is the first picture they have to offer you, and this is an 8x10 photo, and they sell it for $29.95.
Yeah.
And then if you get a second one, then it's for $19.95. However, they also offer something a little more unique that I think a lot of people will love.
It's a Gringotts ID badge.
Yeah.
So you have your sad photo in there. It's not sad. You can pose however you want.
Yeah.
And then the back has this cool Gringotts canvas design.
Yeah.
But it's a cool souvenir. I would.
It's expensive.
It's a lot of money. But
I like the ID badge just because they post the date right on it too. They do it on the picture, but it shows you and then what date you were there, and it's really well done. I think a lot of people are going to be walking around with these around their necks.
Yeah.
So you move on from there. You kind of go past doors for the goblins and all that.
They do that cool shadow thing.
And
I mean, there's cool effects. Yeah.
Yeah, there are cool effects. Like you'll walk by and you'll see. That's where you first get to see Harry, Ron, and fake Hermione.
Fake Hermione.
Fake Emma Watson. But they kind of have these projections on the doors that are showing them whenever they took the Polyjuice potion. So Hermione looks exactly like Bellatrix, and it's a nice little
Which makes it
feature.
even more confusing when you're supposed to be hearing Hermione, but the actress's voice is wrong. But anyway.
It's a world of pain.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
then you get to...
I spoiled it, but now you get to Bill...
Thanks.
I'm so sorry, but...
Yeah, you go into Bill Weasley's office, and there's a goblin in there, too. And that's the first pre-show, which uses effects similar to the ones that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are projected up in Hogsmeade in the Defense Against the Dark Arts room.
Or like on Disaster, Mother Nature with Christopher Walken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The same kind of thing. So here's just we'll play a couple seconds of this just to give you an idea of what it looks like without spoiling much.
Weasley's wildfire whiz-bangs. Fireworks from my brothers Fred and George.
Billies, what are you doing here?
This is my office, Lord Act. The question is, what are you doing here?
I was about to show our new clients the vault. I was just getting the keys.
Well, I moved them. All you have to do is ask. Accio keys.
So, after this pre-show, he basically says, well, during the pre-show, he says, I'm going to take you down into the bank vaults. And that kind of sets up the story for the ride. But before you can get on the carts to go into the bank vaults, you have to go down this elevator shaft. Which...
You have to go on an elevator, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you don't just jump down
You don't
the
just
elevator
jump down like Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, you can, but it's highly frowned upon.
Sure. So you load into an elevator, which is a large elevator.
Yeah.
I would say probably a good 15, 20 people could fit.
Yep.
You'd agree?
If not more.
If not more.
Yeah.
So comfortably, I would say.
Okay.
But you get in this elevator, and you would know this answer better than me, but I don't think you technically move. How you don't? Okay.
You do. You go down
All right.
into the...
You do. It's a long trip down.
Yes.
the elevator moves. It shakes, so you feel like you're actually moving. And then there's this really cool effect above you. So it's an open elevator. Are screens that show you moving down the elevator shaft.
Yep.
And it's one of the coolest things that I've seen. It feels like a ride before a ride.
It's my favorite part of the ride itself.
Yeah, I mean,
besides the actual ride, the queue. That was my favorite part. I liked the pre-show with Bill, and I loved the goblins in the actual lobby. But this was just so well done, and the LED screens all around working together in sync. If one goes out, that's going to look absolutely horrible.
Well, I know. I was thinking the same thing.
But, I mean, it all works perfect. And the floor just bouncing up and down, making you feel like you're on this real shaky elevator. It's awesome.
Almost what you think Tower of Terror is from the commercial.
Exactly.
When they don't show you that there's seats, they just show people standing in an elevator, and you think you're going to die.
So you get out of there, you pick up your bank goggles. I forget what the actual term they said was.
Why you have to wear glasses in the bank? They're the fancy 3D ones.
Yeah, they're 3D glasses.
Do they fit comfortably? Were you wearing your glasses?
Yeah.
Do they fit comfortably?
They always fit with mine. Yeah, they work. So then, since you took this elevator all the way down, then they force you to actually climb stairs to go back up to get to the loading area. You get up there, and then it is, as we thought, dual loading platforms, exactly like the Mummy as well.
From both sides. So just to point out, this is where I left to go hang out with Tim Burton. So you'll continue the story from here.
So there's both sides loading, and the one difference from Mummy in that form is that there's actually 2 cars that make up one full train. So whereas Mummy, 1 car equals 1 train, this is 2 cars equal 1 train. So each car that goes off has, simple math, 24 people on it that goes out.
You're a mathlete.
Thanks. So whenever this came out, they didn't quite say exactly what it was. They said it was a roller coaster type ride.
Yeah.
And we knew that there was going to be projection screens involved with 3D. And so that kind of gave us the idea that it was a mixture between Transformers and something like the Mummy, based on the pictures of the ride vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's the absolute truth of what it was. It was this crazy hybrid mixture. You start going out of the platform. There's no video allowed on this, so you won't see any video from it. Sorry. If anyone puts it up, they shouldn't. But
Calling them out.
yeah, there's very strict rule on it.
Yeah.
So you start going out, and all of a sudden you get to that first room, and we saw the clips of Bellatrix and some of the press stuff that they released. Bellatrix is shooting her wand stuff at you, and this is the part that I was talking about where you start to go down, and then you head down into it, and all of a sudden, before you're in a roller coaster line like before, but then it kind of breaks off into 2 different tracks, and so the cars are on 2 separate tracks, I think.
Okay.
And then they start spinning, and then you have the screens with you, but the cars basically slow down or stop when you do have the screens. However, they still move, and it makes you feel like Transformers. That's as much as I'm gonna say about it, because I don't even understand a lot of the technology, only going on it twice. You don't really get an idea for everything that happens with it.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely the most technologically advanced ride I've ever been on.
Okay. Well, so part of the reason I knew in my head I probably would only ride this once for the only sole fact that I get very sick on these type of simulator rides.
Yeah.
Now I didn't get to do it, but how would you put it on a level of motion sickness? If I were to ride it, or you think someone else that had this problem, do you think that they would be affected and probably get sick from this?
For me, because they mixed that Transformers element with a roller coaster, that made me a little more sick than I have ever gotten. I never get sick on rides.
Yeah.
I've ridden Forbidden Journey how many times, and Transformers how many times. I've never really bothered me. Roller coaster is the same, but this one actually got to me.
Okay. So that says a lot, I think.
Not super terribly, but enough that I finally understand what people mean whenever they say, "Oh, I feel a little queasy." That's where I was at with it. However, I would only say that should deter people who get really motion sick. think long and hard about.
Yeah.
If
I mean,
Forbidden Journey
I can't
made
do
you
Forbidden
sick-
Journey. Oh, absolutely not.
If that makes you sick,
yeah.
don't do it. If Transformers makes you sick, don't do it.
Both of those make me very ill.
This will make people
Okay.
more
That's
ill
what I thought.
than
Well, because you're adding a spinning component, so it's basically teacups and Transformers, and
it's just
Yeah,
a
no.
ridiculous ride. It's what they did with it is incredible, and there's not any other real animatronics in it. Like some people were hoping that there'd be an actual dragon in there and not
Yeah.
just the screen. That didn't happen. So it's all 3D screens after that. Kind
Sure.
of with that, it didn't upset me any bit. But I loved that we actually had Voldemort in the ride, as played by Ralph Fiennes. Rafe.
yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
He- he-
Ray Fiennes, for anyone that we're
What? Who was I thinking of? Oh my gosh. It doesn't
but
matter.
They call him Rafe. I believe.
What?
Okay.
Oh,
well,
we are going way too much into that. No. So, and then Bellatrix, Helena Bonham Carter, had a huge role in this, and
as she does in the books and the movie, so I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, she was crazier than ever.
Okay.
In it, which is always lovely to.
This
see.
is just a little tidbit, but I found it really interesting that Terry Koop, who is
Yeah.
the senior vice president for Universal Creative, he directed Helena Bonham Carter
Yeah.
for the scenes. For some reason in my head, I thought that, I don't know, a director would have been,
Yeah.
but it was nice to see that the person that was in charge of the creative stuff actually got a big hand in that. So
It's very cool to hear. Yeah. It's an amazing ride. Height requirement on it is 42 inches.
okay, yeah, that's pretty, and that lower for
Yeah.
especially this type of ride.
And that's what they were toting it, is that it was more family friendly. However, I think they also forget that family friendly should also include people of different body dimensions.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of lost on it. But I know that has to deal with what the manufacturer says. And I know we've talked about it before,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. They
Sure.
might be able to adjust it in the future like Forbidden Journey did. It didn't open up with modified seating. It got that later on. So this might do the same. It might not. Only time will tell. Bags have to go in lockers.
Yes.
No loose articles, hence no videoing. Plus, it would just come out bad anyways. It's all 3D.
Yeah.
So, but in general, this ride is out of this world. I can't highly recommend it enough. It was my favorite thing. I did get evac'd off it the first time I tried to ride, and that's why I missed Tim Burton. It was a whole hour and a half long process from the time we got in line till I made it out the door.
It's okay. You got to see Joey Fatone. You're fine.
Life made. But it was worth it once
Yeah.
I finally got to do it.
Well, that's good.
I can't say enough good things about it.
From what you're describing, it sounds completely
Yeah.
revolutionary. I mean, the way that they've done it.
It
So,
is.
I mean, I would have liked more animatronics. I feel like that gives more,
Yeah. But they
immersive
handled
thing,
that
but
in the queue.
Sure.
And then, of course, the last thing we need to talk about before we wrap this up entirely
Yes.
is the dragon.
The dragon.
On the roof, because he's finally finished, and that's why we are allowed in there, of
Yeah.
course. A giant 60-foot dragon on top of Gringotts.
the
that breathes
detail.
fire.
The detail in this thing is unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really look close, and I had my zoom lens, so I was taking closer pictures. The painting is just, I don't know how they did it. I mean, it looks so good. And every 10 minutes or so,
Yeah.
he will breathe fire.
So,
Shall we watch it?
yeah,
Okay.
let's watch it.
Let's.
If you close your eyes, you're going to miss it, though. So, here it is.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it, too.
Oh, crap. Okay.
I sneezed. That's fine. It's incredible.
And that's a daytime view of it. At nighttime, it was a different experience, as I would say with the whole land.
Yeah.
Diagon Alley at night just gives it a different feeling.
Yeah.
It feels so authentic, and during the day it's amazing too. But I think at night it's just
it's
phenomenal.
Yeah. I think it is the best ultimate quintessential theme park experience that you can find right now. It doesn't matter if you're a Harry Potter fan.
I completely agree with that.
If you can't walk in there and say, I appreciate this, if you
Yeah.
can't say that, then you just don't want to be there. And
You have to give it a chance,
Yeah.
even if you say you're not a Harry Potter fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I can say. I wish we had more videos from it at night, but we weren't actually allowed to shoot any video that first night.
That's why I said we had to leave our cameras back, and that's when we were let in. So we don't have any photos and stuff. But eventually we will. So
and we've got a lot of stuff going up from the daytime. We've been very busy. So.
I just put up 250 photos from Diagon Alley, so we'll have links to that everywhere, so you can check those out.
We have an overview video that you can check out on YouTube. As of now, along with the full Three Brothers show, there's going to be plenty more going up today and tomorrow as well with that. And yeah, just keep an eye out. Night videos will come later on, but we still have a ton of stuff to cover with it because the detail in this place is so incredible that there is literally hours and hours and hours of stuff that we can keep going back to see.
We got to spend, I don't know, 5 hours in that land,
and it was not enough.
Not enough. No. Yeah.
So
should we talk about the big thing?
Yeah.
Okay. We are going to have a giveaway.
Yep.
Right. And the way we're going to do this is we want to have it on social media.
Yes.
So we want you to share what you're most looking forward to about Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
And tell us what you really look forward to. And then if you use the hashtag Diagon Alley, which we'll post, so you can use the correct one and we'll tweet about it and stuff. But just let us know what you're looking forward to, and then do you want to talk about what they could win?
Well, what you can win is not a Transformers notepad.
It's
not a lollipop.
No, it's a bit better than a lollipop.
No, we are going to give away one of the interactive wands.
Yeah. So we have one of the RFID wands that you can use for the interactive wand experience in Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade. I don't know if we mentioned that specifically, but they've integrated it into Hogsmeade as well. So you can use the wands in both lands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a net value of $45, just so you know, to write it off for taxes.
Not redeemable for cash. Yeah.
Not redeemable for cash. But no, use the hashtag Diagon Alley and let us know why you're excited to go, and you're going to have a chance of winning a free interactive wand.
Yeah, they'll save you $45. So
yeah, and if you're not going and you just want the wand,
it's just as cool to stand in front of a mirror and
it is
and play with it. So.
However, give it to someone who's going.
Okay, let's go.
So, anything else to say at all? I don't.
I have nothing.
Okay. Well, that wraps it up.
Yes.
The only other thing I want to mention is that we will be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
On our Tuesday at 7 o'clock time, which I'm all whacked out on dates right now, but we'll be back.
In 2 weeks, we'll be back with
July 1st.
July 1st with a full review of Cabana Bay.
Cabana Bay with a special guest, Peter Warner.
Oh, that Peter?
Yeah, it's out of the bag.
Okay.
So, that's going to be it for now.
Yes.
So,
thanks for watching. I know this was long, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.